We are live. So today we're talking about the 5 years celebration red, members red, that we're going to release very soon. I'm going to blind taste Mira just to see how expensive her taste is. And I'm going to talk about a winery that we love very, very much. So stay tuned. I'm going to be right back. Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, everyone across the country, welcome, welcome. It's Wednesday. Sit back, relax, crack a good wine of Canadian wine, and join us, Mira and I, because she's going to be here in just a few seconds. And yeah, let's talk Canadian wines. We have a boatload to talk about with you guys. And yeah, we're back from Vancouver Island after a wonderful, wonderful time in the Cowichan Valley in Duncan on Vancouver Island. We were hosted by, sorry. We were hosted by a wonderful team at Blue Grouse Estate Winery for 3 days, and we tasted some outstanding wine. Their hospitality was off the chart, and yeah, we are very much looking forward to do a feature on them later this summer. But yeah, welcome. 8 o'clock Eastern time. It's 5 o'clock here Pacific. 28 degrees here in the Okanagan. This is a taste of summer, and we are pretty darn excited to host you tonight and talk about a few great things, because you have probably received an email today regarding the members celebration red, the 5 years of Carl's Wine Club. Yes, we're right around the corner. July 1st is our 5th anniversary. The label have been designed, the wine have been put together. We've worked with an incredible team at Vineland Estate, and we made an awesome blend of Clone 214 and 327 Cabernet Franc from the boutique vineyard with Brian Schmidt and his team. What a process, what an incredible experience. And we are so thrilled to offer that to you guys, to all of our members. VIP had the first bid today, and yeah, it's out. We're going to show the labels in a few minutes. Mira's going to have that going on the screen. But what an incredible journey. So we're going to recap a little bit of our 15,000 wines that we've tasted, these 160 wineries that we've featured, wine shipped from every corner of each and every provinces. I'm not gonna list all of the issues we had with shipping over 5 years. That's not the point. But I think overall, we're batting for a pretty good average, despite the fact that we have one of the biggest country in the world. Welcome, Daryl. Conspiracy theory, yes and no, because Ontario Cab Franc is something pretty darn freaking good, Daryl. And yeah, no, I can't wait for you to taste that one. A blend of oak barrel, amphora, and a bit of stainless steel, and providing by the outstanding 23 vintage. We're excited about that. I'm sure you're going to love it. I'm sure you're going to love it. But yeah, if you are tuning in tonight, I want to know where you're tuning in from. I want to know what's in your glass. I want to know what you're tasting, because I have in front of me 3 beautiful wines. They are all from Ontario. And I'm not going to say what it is right now. I'm just going to taste it, because first and foremost, I want to know what Mira's thinking. I wanted Mira to put a price tag on each and every of these wines, because that's the fun part. We do kind of shit that just like come up to our mind. And today I said, you know what? I don't feel like being blind taste. I'm gonna blind taste you. And Mira is good with pricing, so you know what? I want to know if I want to see what she has in store. What's her palate is going to tell us how much are each and every of these wines, or at least which one is the most expensive of all. It's going to be fun. So welcome everyone. Daryl's here from Ontario, and I can't wait to see you all putting your comments in and see what where you're tuning in and what is in your glass. I brought that over just for fun because that was our first Carl's Wine Club wine that we've designed and produced with our friend at Bellaterra. Over the years we've built so many outstanding relationships. And Bellaterra was one of the very first of them. So we had the very privilege to make one wine with the Bellaterra team, Marcel and Fred, and that was a big success. But this time around, for our 5th anniversary, we're going a little bit more premium, a little bit more luxury, a little bit more of a single vineyard type of thing. And I'm pretty darn thrilled that our wine was rated 92 points. And important to know that when I rated it, I had 5 wines in front of me. I didn't know which one was which. So it was absolutely blind, didn't know which one it was. And I rated it 92 points for our 5-year anniversary, Carl's Wine Club Celebration Red. So I can't wait to flash the label on the screen. We're going to get there very, very soon. But it's a super, super, super cool project that happened with. I think we mentioned it on our landing page. Actually, this is all about like the first time that we met Brian Schmidt, and first time we were tailgating with him at the boutique vineyard at Vineland Estate. We had Rob Amersley with us. Mike Laplante, the average wine enthusiast, and his wife Jen was there with us as well. There you go. That was our very first time at the boutique vineyard. An incredible Al Dupuis right behind as well. Al works at the team general manager at the winery. Just a great time. And when we were sitting on this tailgate and tasting Cap Franc, and we were right there in the middle of the aisle, in the middle of the little pathway, the dirt road, and Brian is explaining, okay, on the left here, you have the Clone 327, vines planted in 1996. I'm like, whoa, holy shit, 1996. Wait a minute. It was back in 2022, I believe, when we were there. So, okay, like 26-year-old vines. Oh, wow. So on the other side, 10 years younger, the Clone 214. And in our glass, we had the previous vintage of these wines right in our glass, and we're tasting and just mind-bogglingly experiencing how different these two clones were, with just like a 4 feet wide little dirt road, and on each and every side was a very different wines from the same grape varietals. So theirs was a beginning of a curiosity and passion for the clone difference, what clone of each grapes provide. And we've been experiencing these kind of thing with many different wineries since, most importantly with Code Wine, which has built a portfolio of Pinot Noir, different clones, which is very unique and very special, very exciting. So, but the beginning of our journey, Mira and I, with Clone Difference really started with tailgating with Brian Schmidt at Vineland. And when we approached Brian, and when we were just brainstorming about new ideas, and we wanted to move forward with our 5 years anniversary wine, Brian suggested to do something like that, a 50-50 clone 327 and 214. It was like really, really exciting. And here we are, the wine's in the bottle, just waiting for the labels to be print and slap on the bottle, put it in the case, and get it ready for you guys to taste, you guys to enjoy. We already had a few order coming in today. It's really exciting, so I can't wait for this wine to go all over Canada and to start. Ooh, oh, hello, hello,
Hi.
hello. How are ya?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Looking good back there. I love the red. You're popping, baby.
We have swapped places. I am in Carl's wine lair, and yeah, he's down out on the patio. Very nice.
So yeah, I was just been talking
Oh,
to
Daryl. Daryl is going with Scotch tonight. And yeah, nice to see you too, Rob. And Jim. And presumably Tracy.
presumably, yeah. Yeah, I think so. Rob is here and James is tasting Mythology Harmonious 2018. There you go.
Very good.
Very good. A 7-year-old red blend, which is really smooth and shining at the moment. So, yeah. So, what do you think it's in your glass tonight?
So I'm very excited because you are blind tasting me. I didn't have to try and open a wine bottle, although it's been very good practice these last few months of me trying to blind taste Carl. And because I think I've only ever opened like 2 wine bottles myself in my whole life until we started doing these blind tastings on Wednesday nights with you guys a few months ago. And I've cut myself many times.
With the
Opening
foil, right?
wine bottles is not like as easy as it looks, especially if you're in a rush. But anyway, tonight I didn't have to open any bottles for Carl because these are the ones he's blind tasting me on. So I have 3. Hey, I have a white, I have a red in the Gabriel glass, and I have another red in a putty putt glass.
Yeah.
So, ooh, and this one is very fun on the nose.
It sure is, eh? It sure is. So I haven't tasted any of these wines yet. These are all new releases. So I'm really excited to see what's in there as well. I don't even know the price. So I'm gonna go here and check. No, you have access to the same Google list than me, so I'm gonna wait. But yeah, you give me a little bit of what you think. I'll let you taste them, and first and foremost, I want to know which one is the most expensive. We're gonna start basic. I just want you to tell me which one of the 3 is the most expensive.
Well, I'm gonna assume it's not gonna be the white because usually whites are not as expensive as reds. So, but it's a very nice white. This is what, a Chardonnay? Maybe. It smells like a Chardonnay. I'm getting some like a bit of stone fruit on the nose. So this is for those that don't know, I know nothing about wine. I literally just mimic what Carl does, and then because I have tasted 5,000 wines in the last 5 years with you.
I think that you know much more. I think that you know much more that you take credit for.
Just by osmosis.
To be honest with you, you know much more that you give yourself credit for. You nailed it on the nose with the Chardonnay. That's a perfect guess here.
Yeah, a little bit of like ripe peach, and then I get a nice like zinginess on the finish. It's a very nice Chardonnay. It's very
super
nice.
salty too.
Bit of oak, I am guessing.
Yeah, super
but
salty too.
nothing too crazy. No huge amount of makeup, as Daryl would say.
Yeah, but just the right amount of makeup, the perfect amount of
It's
makeup, I
nice.
would say.
It is
But yeah,
nice.
nice saltiness too.
So my guess, I have no clue. Like, this is where Carl is so good. He can be like, oh yes, it's
So,
this kind of wine from this region, and it's probably cost this much, and like 95% of the time he's bang on. I don't know.
and I
I
would
got
suggest
Chardonnay.
you to move on before you give any answer. Just move
Yeah.
on and taste the others, so that give you a little
Taste the reds.
benchmark. Give you a little benchmark on texture. Give you a little benchmark on length, so that will give you an
So
idea.
right off the bat, I'm guessing that Chardonnay is Ontario, only because I know that BC Chardonnays, there's a bit more lemon usually. I don't know. That's what
I
I get.
love that. I love that. A little bit more
A
lemon
little bit more
meringue
acidity.
here. Yeah, I mean, now you're bang on. This is an Ontario Chardonnay.
Ah,
So
2%.
see, I mean, you're batting for 1,000 right now. It's pretty impressive. It's pretty
Okay,
impressive.
so the first red that you have in this Gabriel glass, I have tasted it, and a little bit more muted on the nose and on the palate, I'm guessing, than this next one here. So, ooh. Okay, so my guess is the one that you've got in my Gabriel glass is either, it's just a bit more muted than the other one. So I want to say the one that you put in my puttyfoot glass is possibly younger, because it's a little bit more like grippy.
Okay.
Yeah, Marcel, I have learned a lot. I mean, I was just thrown in the deep end with like this crazy wine taster here. So, yeah, so I get a lot more flavor and grippiness out of this one versus the one in the Gabriel glass.
So do you
One in the-
think, and I'm just here try to steer you into a different direction. Do you think it's the age of the wine because it's more grippy, or maybe more maybe more the grape varietals,
That's a good point. That's a good point. Are they
right?
two different grape varietals or
Oh
different types?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. One of the two is a single varietal, and the other one is a blend. The blend is is 1 year younger, 1 year older than the single varietal.
Okay. I got to tell you, what's in the Gabriel glass is opening up on the third sip,
Yep.
which is sometimes an indicator for me of possibly a more complex wine. It tastes different for every
Yeah.
sip that you take. Like for the first 10 sips, you're like, oh, different wine, different wine, different wine.
Absolutely. I mean, you're right. You're bang on. You're absolutely bang on. It seems like you've tasted wines before.
Did you put the more expensive wine in the more expensive glass?
Hey, that's possible. That's possible. Maybe it's a total coincidence. It might be not a coincidence. It might be not the right answer.
Yeah. How big is the price difference between these two reds?
Pretty big. No, not between the two
No?
big. There's okay. Here's the difference. Okay, tell me which one is the most expensive between the two reds. Okay.
Okay, well, whenever I've asked Carl, okay, so this, first of all, you guys need to know. I used to take Carl to these fancy parties when I used to run like big fundraising campaigns for universities and stuff. And everyone would ask Carl, you're into wine. Well, what I've always wanted to know, what's the difference between, you know, a $20 wine and a $100 wine? And he'd be like, oh, $80. But in all seriousness, I have learned a few things from Monsieur Boucher here. And one is that the more expensive the wine, the more you can expect on the finish. So that's one thing. The more you can expect on the texture. And often that's influenced by oak treatment, which again is more expensive and takes longer to do, reflecting in the price. Okay.
Yeah. There's
And
$4. There's $4 difference
That's it?
between the two reds.
Oh, so you're expecting me to figure out which one is more expensive based on $4 difference?
That's
Oh,
not that
you
easy. Well,
sneaky guy.
I just want to I just want to start with the reds, and after
Okay.
that we'll bring the white in the equation.
Okay, well, if I had to go with my gut, it's going to be that the Gabriel Glass red is more expensive, and I'm also guessing it is the blend. Why? Because on the putty foot, I get just a more like zippy directional kind of thing.
Okay.
And then on this one, it's a little bit more harmonious, a little bit more. Okay, that's all I know so far.
So
If I keep,
what you're saying makes so much sense. Okay,
Mm.
a ton of sense. You're so good at that. And that red shirt just makes you pop so much right now. And I'm just listening to your explanation, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so hot. But
Thank
here,
you.
absolutely, absolutely, this is amazing. The most expensive of the two reds is it's in the Gabriel Glass, but it's the single varietal. The blend is less expensive, and it's in the putty foot.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it is interesting.
So I did get it right. See, I have a nose for the price points a little bit.
You
even
sure
if it's
do.
$4
You
difference.
sure do. You sure do. Now, here, let's see. The blend exactly is.
So I know that Daryl and I shared a dislike for Cab Franc for a long time, and then I've been converted, and I think we're getting close to a breakthrough with Daryl too. Especially since he won a Magnum of Cab Franc personalized with his name on it that he will have to share with us if he doesn't like Cab Franc. So
Well, I mean,
what I was gonna say is I think the less expensive wine definitely, if it's a blend, will have Cab Franc in it. I'm not sure if this one that's $4 more
80%. So
is
the
Cab Franc.
blend is from 80% Merlot, 19% Cab Franc, and 1% Cab Sauv.
There you go.
Which is, I'm fairly surprised that winery rarely work with Cab Sauv, from what I know from them. So,
Huh.
so,
So it's Merlot, Cab Franc, and just a little bit of Cab Sauv.
yeah, just a splash, or 1% of Cab Sauv. So 80, 19, 1. Okay. So that's our blend here at $26.
Boy.
Okay.
Wow. Is that including or plus tax? Because these days the tax is bigger and
I
bigger.
think it changed. So it's plus tax now.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
at that price, this blend is pretty darn freaking good. I'll tell
Yeah.
you one
And
thing.
that you guys need to know this has happened because ever since that brilliant HST holiday that happened in Canada, after the HST holiday, a lot of people that were doing tax in prices decided to do tax plus prices. So so that is something to watch out for if you're a wine lover.
That was a big anticipation because for this, like, this is 2021 vintage, okay? And that's just coming out after an incredible showing of the 2020 vintage. So I was pretty excited to see how they would respond to provide, like, which kind of wine we're going to get from the 21 with Merlot Cab Franc in the bottle. But it's very impressive the work that they did to provide that wine at $26. Hats off to the winemaking team here. And I can't wait to tell you which winery it is very soon. So here, what we have in the Gabriel glass, my professional taster in a red shirt here. It's a 100% Pinot Noir from the 2022 vintage, and we have that wine at $32.
So the one in the Gabriel glass is 32.
Yeah, no 30. Let me go back here.
So that's a great price.
32. So we have $6 difference.
And you said this is a single varietal.
Single varietal Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
See, if I had to guess, I would have I would have not guessed Pinot Noir. That's super
Don't
interesting.
feel bad. I mixed Chardonnay for Riesling once, so I mean,
There you go.
I mean, you don't have to feel bad. No, there's no wrong answer here. There's none. There's none. We're learning and we're having fun. We're very like I love like it needs. You need to put your ego on the side when you do blind taste live like that, because often your ego can get crushed. And I've learned to just roll with it. And you look stupid, and you're like, yeah. Why you
Well, the
want
good thing is I have no ego when it comes to wine tasting, because I'm no professional. I'm just like anyone else. I have no idea. All I know is like I like this one or I don't like this one. That's about it. And for these two, I like both of them. Yeah, no problem. We'll drink both of those. Also the white.
Yeah. So now the white. The white. The white. The white, right?
That's a great Chardonnay. And
Is
it's
it?
from Ontario. These
Yep.
are all three are from the same winery.
Absolutely.
There you go. See how good I am.
Now, is the Pinot's more expensive than the Chardonnay, or the Chardonnay is more expensive than the Pinot? That's the $1 million question right here, right?
It's true, because I mean, if there's any white that is going to be on the pricier side, it's going to be Chardonnay, probably, because Chardonnay is one of the whites that ages well. Like it's one of the whites that we've had to decant.
Well, we can also have Rieslings from Dobbin, or some of the top Rieslings from Case Pru.
Yes, you're right. So Rieslings, right? Chardonnays, those are generally the ones that can get right up there in the price point, right?
But you're right.
And Leaning Post, Daryl, I don't know. It could be. We just had a nice big shipment from Leaning Post, because they're our winery of the year for Ontario, Members' Choice. And so we have an event that will be happening at that winery very soon. And also we had a nice big package of wine from them recently. They are going to open up some exclusive releases to club members kind of on an ongoing basis, because I figured, if they're our winery of the year, we should probably have access for members to all their wines all the time, right? Especially unique, rare releases, right? That's kind of why we voted them winery of the year, because we want to rate
our ongoing feature, Mira, with Leaning Post will be more for current release. For new members, our new members who are joining the club will be welcome with having the possibility to meet our winery of the year. And it's more of a regular current release. That's what we have.
Glad to know. That's good. But I do know
you've
that
been very busy with you've been very, very busy with other things. So that's totally fine here. So now let's get back to our question. Is the Chardonnay more expensive than the Pinot?
Well, I mean, normally I would say definitely the Pinot is more, because it's a red. But Chardonnay is a bit of a wild card. It can get on the pricier side, especially.
Don't forget about the grape varietals. Just think about what's in your glass.
Well, just the Chardonnay is pretty spectacular.
So let's think about texture, length, and complexity. Okay. There's always the three elements that I will challenge people to see if it's when we're talking about price. That's what I'm looking for: length, texture, and complexity. Yeah. Now you had a sip of the white.
Okay, I'll have a sip of the Pinot Noir again, just because. There's some florality on that Pinot Noir. It's very nice.
It does. It does have some floral note, a little bit of forest floor, to a little bit of earthiness.
It's very nice. Yeah, I would have to say, if I go with my gut, it's the Chardonnay. The Chardonnay should cost more. I really like the Chardonnay.
So my business partner, which happened to be my wife, has a knack for expensive things. But I have to say to everybody who are listening that she has a best knack for good sales. The great values, to find something who tastes incredible. Anyway, that's not the point on that one. You nailed it. The Chardonnay is almost double the price at the Pinot.
Are you serious? Really?
Absolutely. You nailed it. The
Well, I'm
texture is
glad I
pretty.
nailed it.
You did. You did.
Send me in there to
That
look for
wine
the
is
most
not that
expensive
that
thing.
wine
I'll
is not
find it.
on the that wine is not out. It's not somewhere that you can find it. I'm just guessing the Chardonnay is probably $55. That's my guess. So yeah, I mean we have people. High five.
No, you have to tell me which winery. But yes, you have people what?
In the chat here.
Yeah.
We're guessing Leaning Post, and we just have a conversation about Leaning Post, and we have here the Putty
Oh, it
Foot,
is Leaning Post. Oh my
the
God, Daryl,
Cuvée
you get the
Winona.
prize.
We have the new 2022 Pinot, and I left the bottle in the kitchen, but it's the new single clone 541.
No, not the 548, the 541.
No. Okay, you talk for a second. I'll be right back.
Okay, well, because the Leaning Post Clone 548, I think, was our #1 wine of the year last year from Leaning Post there. It was like a 96-point wine. It was ridiculous. And it was only like around $50, which for the quality, the caliber of wine that it was, oh my God, I feel like that was a phenomenal deal. A lot of you guys bought that. We sold them out of it and we oversold them on it. Actually, they had a rude awakening that their
That's
inventory
actually what it
counts were
is.
off by like 2 cases. Clone 548. That's the new Clone 548?
That's the 2021 vintage, the brand
No.
new release.
So
Yeah,
that's the new version of our wine of the year last year. It was our
yeah.
#1 wine last year, right?
Our number one of our
Yeah.
number one, like number 2 wine that I've ever tasted. The highest wine that I've ever tasted after my when I lost my mind on the Pearl Morissette Cuvée 19e. But other than that, that wine is the second highest wine that I've bought. The first version,
Wow.
but yeah. So
Yeah, so I am so proud of myself, you guys, because I totally picked it out. I was like, this should be the most expensive wine, and it is. So
yeah.
there you go.
So
And it
because
so deserves it. Like, it is an excellent wine, amazing wine. And what's funny is that Ilya Senchuk, the winemaker, never bottled that clone separately, right? Until he did, and we discovered it, super small batch, and we were like, that is it. That right there, that is it. Right?
So if you had blind taste me on that 2021, I will never had guessed that it was the same 548 that we tasted from the 2020. There's more grassiness, a little bit more grassiness, a little bit more citrus in that wine. The profile, obviously, 2020 was a big, rich, hot vintage where the citrus turned into lemon meringue, turned into a little bit more of a orchard fruit. This is zingier. This is more linear. There's a little bit more herbaceousness into it. But the salinity, there's a salinity in that wine which is outstanding. There's a complexity in that. Hey, can you please stop that boat?
We can't hear the boat. It's all good.
No? Okay.
No. But that's great. You know what, you guys? It was 30 degrees in the Okanagan today. So that boat has every right to be out on the water boating. I mean, yeah. I almost jumped into the lake today. It was just too cold. A little too cold. Just a little.
Yeah. So yeah, Leaning Post here. So we're getting. Oh, is that?
And there goes Carl.
Am I here?
You're here. I'm so excited we're talking about Leaning Post because, yeah, when we got that box of Leaning Post, I was like, yes, it's going to be a good night when we open them.
Absolutely. So we have going on in that welcome package for new members. We have going on the 2022 Rosé, the 2022 Chardonnay, the 50, the entry-level Chardonnay. We have the 2021 regular Chardonnay. We have their 2022 Pinot Noir, the one that we just tasted, and the new 2021 Cuvée Winona. So that's the 6 bottles that we have. There's also the outstanding Merlot, the 2020 Merlot, that we absolutely lost our mind on it earlier this
We
year.
did, and Daryl picked up on how amazing that wine was. So the next day he's at
So
the winery.
that Merlot is going to be in the pack as well, and there's also that 458, and we can also add the Senchuk Chardonnay, the new 2021 Senchuk Chardonnay, which is made with that clone 548 as well, but also blend with the other clone that he has on the property. So that's the difference here. So I know that Dylan is a big fan of Leaning Post Chardonnay. He just tuned in here. Welcome to the show, Dylan. Nice to see you. That you're tuning in. Cheers, brother. We're just tasting Leaning Post new release, the 2022 Pinot Noir that I just tasted here. And I had thought of I was thinking of you because I know that you're a big fan. So yeah. Speaking about
So if you and Cavell happen to be driving by in the next day or two, we do have a bottle open for you, so you have to stop by. Yeah. So what do you think of that new 548, Carl Boucher?
So I tasted the Senchuk last week.
Okay.
Right?
The Chardonnay.
The Senchuk Chard, which is a component, like it's made from that 5.4, but part of it is the 5.48, right? But the Senchuk is a blend of the other clones that he has on the property. From this vintage, from 21, I'm choosing the Senchuk over the 5.48. Definitely. I gave 94 points to the Senchuk last week. And that's the one that I choose to bring to the Pan Canadian. That's going to be part of the Chardonnay panel.
I'm sorry, how many points did you give the Senchuk Chardonnay?
94 points.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. We were live last week, and we tasted that wine last week. So yeah. Now with the 548, I think this wine needs to breathe a little bit. I want to taste that a little later tonight. Right now, I'm not ready to rate it. I think there's much more coming from this.
I'll give you guys the Mira rating. It's very easy to tell what the Mira rating is because you just look at how much I've consumed, kind of like without any interventions here. So you can see that my favorite of a 3 is that 548.
Yeah, no, definitely. Listen, these are 3. I mean, like the Pinot Noir, the 22 Pinot for $32. That's freaking fantastic. Absolutely freaking fantastic. I might give it a 92 plus, maybe a 93 points for that one. Outstanding for the price. To me, it's very Pinot. There's a florality, there's earthiness, there's crushed raspberry into that. It gives me everything that, and I know Elia's style, right? Elia makes big and bold Pinot, and that's what it is. It's, bold. This is a reflection of the vintage. It's crunchy, it's crisp. I like the vibrancy of that wine. Really, really well done. In terms of the Cuvée Winona, that's another one I want to taste. I want to rate a little later. But for $26, this is definitely a 91 points. Definitely. No doubt about that. 26 bucks. Nice texture. I love the tannin. I'm a sucker for good tannin. And at this stage, it's just like, boom, 13% alcohol. It's not too light, not too heavy. Like there's weight on the mid palate. Well done.
Yes, I agree. Okay, I have a question for you. I did not follow as well as I wanted to. Which Pinot Noir are we talking about here that I liked? Uh, this one.
That's the new 2022 Pinot.
22. Okay,
It's
okay,
not.
okay.
It's not the Senchuk. It's not the 50. It's
Okay.
there. It's there.
Straight Pinot.
Eh?
The straight Pinot, like the Leaning
Yeah,
Coast Pinot.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a
Exactly.
blend of
So,
different vineyards, I'm assuming. Yeah.
right here.
Well, I can't
So
see
here
it,
is some
but it's
technicality
okay.
here because I didn't read only 175 cases produced. um,
Hmm.
yeah, it's probably a little blend of what he does from around. It does maybe a little bit of Grimsby Hillside into that. There's some Senchuk fruits in there. There might be, it's Niagara Peninsula, so I won't be surprised that there's a little bit of Niagara on the Lake Pinot fruits as well. I wouldn't be surprised at all. 15 months in French oak. So, and I love to see that he's mentioned there's a Pinot funk. And I know we talked about that, Ilya and I, a few times. I like his expression. He should trademark that. He calls it the Pinot funk. And yeah, there's that earthiness. You called it the floral note, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. You picked up on it. Absolutely. There's a little funk into it, which I love into Pinot. So yeah, I mean, super,
Very nice.
super solid wines for $32. Nice ripe fruit as well. So yeah, very solid wine. I'm gonna finalize the score later tonight, but delicious. Just came out, just released it. So
Beauty.
absolute beauty. And I can't wait to see that little that big Chardonnay evolving a little bit over the evening while we're gonna do a little bit more work and yeah. Hey Mira, I have something
Hey,
because
Carl.
we're celebrating our 5-year anniversary here
Yeah.
coming up soon. We're just I while you were getting your beautiful red shirt and all of that, I was talking to our people about like the beginning and how exciting
Yes.
the wine that we've made with Marcel and Fred here at Bellaterra.
Yes, and you
Uh,
guys helped us pick our 5-year anniversary logo, actually. We put up 4 logos. Let me show you guys. This is the 4 logos we put up and on a couple posts, and then everyone was like giving feedback. And then I think Mike actually took it upon himself to modify the logo a little bit. So this was what we started with, but here, let me show you what we ended up with, given Mike's feedback, all of your feedback. We went with something even more simple, but classy. There you go. 5 years of Carl's Wine Club, established in 2020, which was a big year for the world, wasn't it?
It was a very big year for the world. Absolutely.
And why
Absolutely.
did we want a 5-year anniversary logo? Well, because we're going to have a wine. So we wanted to have something on there that makes it really clear it's for 5 years of Carl's Wine Club. So there you go. And we're really excited because it is a wine inspired by one of our first in-person member events at Vineland, as Carl talked about earlier. It was the tailgating with Brian Schmidt at Vineland. And now Brian Schmidt has taken those 2 sides of the vineyard, which are 2 different clones of Cab Franc, and blended 2 barrels together for us, one from each side of the vineyard, one for each clone. I think it's 2 something something and 3 something
214
something.
and 327.
There you go.
The
Whatever. But
the 327 was the one the 214 and 327. Yeah, the 327 was the one that we featured at the Pan Canadian last year.
that's right. Yeah.
And the
And they are
21
interesting to taste side by side. So if we want to get really nerdy, like especially when we're in Niagara a couple times this summer, we could do some side by side with the club wine, which is a cuvee of the 2 clones, plus the individual clones from the same vintage. That could be really interesting.
You got that right. And that wine was just so absolutely fantastic when we tasted it. Remember, we got different samples. And I have to say, folks, I had no choice but going with that wine, with that wine, because Mira liked it so much. It was not even
Yeah.
up for it was not even up for conversation. It was like, no, I don't care. Like this is the one. And when we discussed price, I mean, there was a different of price point at the end. And I think that it was so easy to justify because the quality of that blend of 50% clone 214 and 50% of 327, made in amphora, in oak, and just a little bit of stainless steel, just made the perfect union in between. Like the whole mouthfeel is so great, and it's such a great representation of Niagara. Mira, you were bang on your tasting profile.
Yeah, so we were live actually when I first tasted it. I just rewatched that. I might do a little clip of that for you guys because I had a cold. I was all congested. I had just come in from like being stuck in traffic for 2 hours. And we were tasting two wines from Vineland. There was the sort of like the more crowd friendly under $30 wine. And then there was the more premium, blend of the two Cab Franc clones that we ended up choosing. And I remember I was like, "Ooh, this one
Oh yeah.
is so my pick is this a slightly more pricey but really good wine." And actually I was pleasantly surprised because you can get this wine for $34.95 tax in if you get a case or more. If you get less than a case, it's $37.95 tax in, which is still a really fantastic deal for that kind of
Taxed in and
quality.
shipping included as well.
Yes, and it's a
So with
single vineyard wine. Like this is a really nice
Oh, I mean, this is
Cab
an absolutely a premium wine. I remember when we finished the show. We finished the show. I came downstairs and I say, "So, what do you think?" And she said, "That's not even close. That's like that. That's the wine, Carl." I was like,
Yeah, I mean, if
"Okay."
I had to choose, obviously, I'm going to go with that one. So,
Well, there's also
um,
the factor that they produce 75. There's 3 barrels, right? So, well, no, that's not true. There's 4 barrels. There's 100 cases ready, but we are labeling 75 cases of it. So, not the rarity, but it's a small batch wine made from very, very top grapes. So it's so freaking exciting to put that with our label on, with Brian Schmidt's signature on it as well.
yeah. So
I mean,
Daryl's asking, will we taste it at the Pan Canadian weekend? And I think we will. Like, even if it's not labeled yet, it's been
yeah,
bottled for a while now.
yeah.
So I think it's a must do.
I might
This
know
is what the label
someone.
looks
I
like.
might know someone who knows the code of where the wine is sitting, and we might get access to go get a bottle or two of that.
Maybe.
Absolutely.
And
And
yeah, so it's got my signature on it, which is pretty funny because I don't, what do I know about wine? But it's got my signature on it only because I was the one that said it's this one that we should do because I like it more. And then
because
it's got
also there's
Carl.
your soul into the last 5 years, and that then this wine represent our first 5 years of what we've put together and all of these relationship with wineries and members, Mira. That's why your name is right, the first one on the left, because your soul is in there.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you. And Carl's signature is on there because obviously it's Carl's Wine Club. And Brian Schmidt's signature is on there because not only is Brian the vigneron, like he is the viticulturist, he is the guy who's out there talking to the vines every day and whispering to them, but he's also the winemaker and he's a phenomenal winemaker. So those are the three signatures on the bottle. Carl gave it 92 points, which in my opinion, on a Mira scale, my scale is not points. It's just like how many glasses do I want to drink. This is one of those, it's not a glasses issue. It's just give me the bottle. I'm not willing to share it. I'm sorry, but it's so good.
I know you will
so,
share it. I know you
so
will.
this is like a one bottle rating, multiple glasses, definitely. And it's also got a hell of a story, which is really fun if you pull it out with friends. So yeah. 92
There's
points
that.
on
And
the Carl scale.
speaking about story, I need to ask you a question. I might keep you about. I might cut you off guard with that because it's like I said, everything we do is off script here. We don't have an itinerary of the show, and we have some line to follow. It's our 5 years anniversary, Mira. That's one represent the first year of Carl's Wine Club. If
Yes.
there's one memory who comes to your mind right away, like
Mhm.
what first memory comes to your mind thinking about our first 5 years? Like, is it something, is there something specific that you think right away?
Well, I do think that the tailgating was one of the core memories of our community. I mean, I know that there were only like a dozen of us there, but we talked about that so much and it's inspired so many other gatherings where we're in the vineyard. So let me show you. Like, this is the original, core memory right there where we're tasting Cap Franc in the vineyards that it's grown in from two sides of the vineyard, but they're so different, right? But then we did so many other things in the vineyards. I mean, we did this in the vineyard at Mythology. I mean, we did this in the vineyard at, oh, that's also Mythology. Where else? We were at De Silva. Check this one out, right? Where we tasted the grapes freshly picked.
That one came to my mind. Yeah, for
That was
sure.
pretty special. I'm just finding you the picture, you guys. This.
That one
Okay.
came to my mind. That's
At
for
the
sure.
Silva, I mean, we got in there with our grape clippers. We clipped that stuff and tasted it side by side of the previous vintage of the wine. That was pretty cool. And then we had this. This is a pretty big core memory.
This came to mind as well.
I mean,
Absolutely.
oh my gosh. I don't know who was there. I think Danny.
Oh my God,
and-
Jared has such a good one. Look at that. What's in the comments?
Yes. Okay. Jared, that's a great point. I don't even have pictures of that, but we'll get to that in a second. I just want to say, like, this picture on the screen right now, core memory, because that was our first ever Members' Choice Awards. And if you remember, members voted Black Market Wine Company as our #1 winery of the year for BC, of the wineries we discovered that year. And we voted Bellaterra Vineyards as our #1 winery in Ontario. And this was the crazy thing that happened, you guys. When we announced that these are the winners of the Members' Choice Awards, and you guys said, well, we should go there and throw a party. We should go crash those wineries, which was a very tantalizing idea because at the time we were still on lockdown. But we did it. We went to those wineries in June of 2022 maybe? And guess what happened? That was really crazy cool, is the respective wineries said, we want to meet each other. So Bellaterra flew their winemaker and the the owner and viticulturist Lou Puglisi and Marcel Morgensen. They flew out to Black Market in BC. And then Black Market was like, well, these guys came to visit us. So Rob and Michelle flew out to Bellaterra. So this is cool because these are the two winemakers, Bellaterra and Black Market, holding each other's bottles.
I think
Like,
if
how
there's
cool is
one
that?
picture, Mira, who represent Carl's Wine Club in the nutshell, this is the one.
I think so.
Who really
Collaboration,
is really
fun.
express the core of what we are, of what we've built. It's collaboration and like the everything Canadian. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that picture, it's, and you might laugh about it. I don't think that we would be sitting here at like, if I wasn't for the phone call that I had at our old house in Calgary with Marcel Morgenstern for the first time Marcel and I had a phone
You
call.
guys, I thought we were going to get in big trouble because within 5 minutes, they were talking about like all sorts of super inappropriate things. And I thought, this guy doesn't know Carl. What if he hangs up the phone and says, wow, this was crazy? But no, they hit it off. They hit it off right from like the first few minutes. So
Yeah, that was another part. And that picture of Fred and Rob together is something that really
very
embodies.
special. But okay, so Jared and Lisa, I mean, you guys were there right from the get-go at the Delta.
They were part of every single dinner.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
They
even
came to every
tasted
dinner.
that 2006 Black Hills Nota
Yeah,
Bene that we
Black is
opened.
Nota
That
Bene
was something else. That was
with
something else.
with Glenn Fawcett, the former president.
Former president of the winery. That's crazy, right? Yeah, that
Yeah.
was fun. So for those of you that don't know, during COVID, we found a loophole to get together anyway, even though it was on lockdown. We found a hotel that had a big atrium, and everyone booked a hotel room, and they gave us a great deal because the hotel had been empty for like months. So we booked out this whole hotel. Everyone's room is overlooking the atrium. So you have your private balcony and your private room, and a 3-course meal gets delivered to your door, as well as 6 wines, I think.
Yeah, I think it was a 4-course meal. We have
Yeah,
four
maybe
courses and
4-course
you had
meal.
6 wines from a yeah. And I remember the lineup: Black Market,
Yes,
Summer Hill. There was Black Hills and Hillside.
Hillside. Yes, those
Hillside.
were, so we did like 4 or 5 events at
Yeah.
that Delta, and Lisa and Jared came to all of them. They were
Hey, we
amazing.
did Bellaterra too.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yes,
We
we
did a
did
lot of things.
Bellaterra too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then what would happen is inevitably members would bring a little something, something from their cellar at home. And then we would like sneak around COVID style, like, oh, we're not supposed to be in each other's rooms, but we're here, and here, try a little sip of this and try a little sip of that. Don't tell the COVID police. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was pretty cool. So
Yeah.
even in our lockdown, we found a way to, commingle our germs in ways. Nobody got sick too, as far as I know, so that's good.
And still all 100% Canadian, everything. So
Yeah, and it was
yeah.
cool too because the chef that was involved was super on board, and he researched a lot of Canadian recipes. Like we had like rabbit at one point.
Well, with
poutine.
like I think it was with the Hillside, we had French Canadian theme with the
Yeah,
Hillside,
pudding chômeur
yeah, and the
and some little
rabbit, and
poutine and
yeah,
a rabbit terrine. All
yeah,
these very Canadian things.
yeah, absolutely. It was
Yeah,
fantastic.
super fun.
So yeah, I
So,
wanted
I
to.
mean, they keep saying we got to go back to Calgary, and I think it's true. I think we need to go in the middle of winter, the dead of winter, and spice things up in Calgary. You up for that, Carl?
Spicing things up. It's part of my it's part of my vocabulary, baby.
It'd be
Yes.
fun. Throw in a little
Abs-
skiing. There you go.
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. I wanted to know what was which memory came to your mind quickly, talking
Well,
about
lots
that.
of them.
But I mean,
Lots
oh,
of
there's
them.
so many. There's so many, and we can't go through a top 10 without talking about the Thomas Batchelder event,
Oh,
which
yeah.
was, I
Epic.
mean, epic, and also something like the sit down with Peter Gamble at Dobbin was quite something that I will remember for a very long time.
Yeah, that was very special. And we're
Um,
going back there, you guys. So if you're coming to the Pan Canadian, I think we have 4 spots left for the winery touring on the Sunday. And we're going to be starting that day off at Dobbin, going to where next? I
Taz,
think Taz. And then followed by, I believe, Malivoire.
you got that right.
And lunch is also included that day. So that's going to be an epic day of touring. It's self-driving. Like we're not going to be renting a bus that day like we are on the Friday of the Pan Canadian when we're doing some vineyard touring, including with Brian Schmidt of Vineland. But that also means it's very reasonably priced on the Sunday where you drive yourself, and all the wineries are within a 5-minute drive or so. So
Yeah,
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it would be epic, like it's usually are. I was talking with Daniel Lafleur, the marketing manager at Taz, and he confirmed that they're planning some barrel tasting straight out of the barrel from Pinot Noir from Taz. So it should be something pretty darn cool with Taz. That, by the
Super
way,
kind of you, Jared and Lisa. I know your kids are now getting older and older, so that's pretty cool. Maybe we can sneak into one of their bedrooms for an overnight in Calgary. Sandy is driving. What a saint Sandy is. Sandy, awesome. Very kind of you. What were you saying, Carl? Daniel Lafleur, Taz. What's that?
Oh, I was just talking that he confirmed that we're gonna do some barrel tasting.
Ooh, when we're there with members.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's exciting. Very exciting for us because I mean, we do really get the VIP treatment at a lot of wineries. And the only regret is like, man, I wish some of our members could see this because it's so cool when you do that. You know, it's very different than just pulling up at the tasting bar and tasting a few wines. You get to know a lot of the stories. So
Speaking
we'll
about
bring you
that,
more of those.
Mira.
What's
Speaking
that?
about that,
Yes.
we got our hands on a very, very small amount of Taw's, David's Blanc de Blanc Sparkling, who was just disgorged and spent 14 years on lees. 14 years in a bottle, aging on its lees, which we're going to have on feature on June the 8th. So in a week, 14 years on its lees.
Have we tasted that yet?
Not yet. The box is on the way, baby.
Ah, that's gonna be good. That's gonna be good.
Yeah, for sparkling, for people who like champagne, 14 years on its lees before release, and it's coming right your way. So it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait. That screams oyster night, baby.
Little oyster feed. I mean, it also screams celebration. It also screams summer to me. I mean, like, what is summer without a brilliant bubbly, you know, on a hot day? Ideally with some oysters, but even just the bubbly, it's good. So Tracy and Jim having a little marital discord here because I'm hearing that Tracy is driving, but then Tracy's like, no, Jim is driving. So, you know, maybe we'll all walk. I mean, they're not such
yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Hey, I just saw the time. I have to go pick up some football kids.
True.
So yeah, this is my my time to take to do a little pickup run for.
There you go. Yeah, I forgot to mention. I mean, we are pushing Carl more and more to do the food and wine thing because often he's like, I'm a big wine nerd, and he only wants to talk about wine. But yeah, more and more of the food and wine thing. If you guys remember this was pretty cool. We did pig roast.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we've done some pretty epic stuff, you guys. Some pretty epic stuff we have done. So there you go. Sandy and Jim, my bet. Oh, they'll both be driving. They'll drive everyone else. Yeah, exactly right. Well, it's fabulous to see you guys. I mean, if you have not yet taken a look at the members celebration red for our 5th anniversary, it is now available for pre-sale. And anyone that purchases this wine before July 1st, which is our official 1-year anniversary, you will be entered for a chance to win a $3,000 getaway in the Okanagan. We will cover your accommodation. Most likely
2 days of touring.
2 days of touring with us. We will drive you around, and lunches with us. Some fabulous lunches, maybe at De Silva, maybe at one of these places that we just really love. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
And we'll let you know, you might have some special requests, and we might take you somewhere that you really want to go. So
it'll be fabulous. So you can win that by purchasing the members red. Every bottle gets an entry. Maybe we'll have some other ways that you can get entries to that draw. There's only 75 cases made of our 5th anniversary members red.
Yeah.
So I would get on that ASAP if you can. There's free shipping with 6 or more, which is awesome. And if you get 12 or more, you also get a heck of a members price break.
$3 off a bottle if you get 12. So
yeah,
boom.
So it's really a good time to pre-order these. And yes, and if you are coming to the Pan Canadian, you will probably have a chance to taste some, even if it might not be ready labeled. But these guys are shipping early July. Our official 1 year is July 1st, which is Canada Day. But don't wait too long because there's only 75 cases and already a few cases have gone. We just announced this about 3 hours ago. So at that rate, it'll sell out very quickly.
You're correct, Mira. Thank you for discussing your blind taste so in depth with us tonight.
I'm glad to see my instincts are pretty good now when
Your
it comes to
instincts are
wine.
fantastic. It's more than your instinct. It's your knowledge. It's your palate. I'm very proud of you. Thanks for entertaining us. Thank you, everyone. It's the 5-year anniversary show today. Thank you. Thank you. It's on in your inbox. So, Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, Mira Boucher.
Carl Boucher. There we go.